Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into another Football Friday, and it's so good to say that. We've got football till every Friday to talk about until February. And we've got some news this morning on the Tom Brady front that we will pass along to you, and we're going to kind of recreate this whole thing that has happened with Brady in the last few months and see if we can figure out what the hell is going on with Tom Brady. I was at a big South Tampa shindig last night, and, man, everybody wants to know what the hell is going on with Tom Brady. I'm like, look, I don't know, but we're digging. We're going to try to find some stuff. Got a couple of pieces of information this morning, so we're going to bring this to you in just a little bit. Skip Holtz is going to join us coming off his USFL championship, and obviously the former USF coach will join us. We'll talk some college football with him and USFL with him as well, and we'll get to the Rays as well. A big win from the Rays last night as Luis Patino comes out from Durham to help a beleaguered staff. And the Rays, with about 3 hours sleep, go on to beat the Royals last night, 7-1. Pretty cool deal there. But, of course, everybody wants to talk about Tom Brady. I'll say good morning to my co-host here, Nick Geddes from Outsider.com. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. I know there's a lot of anticipation right now with what is going on with Tom Brady after what as we heard yesterday.
Yes, there is.
This is the first time the big media really went in on it, I thought. I don't think they were really in on it as much as I thought they would be last week when this happened. But yesterday when this happened, it was everywhere immediately, and this morning it was the lead.
Well, when Todd Bowles makes the statement that he made yesterday, and we'll hear it here in just a second, that's going to raise a few eyebrows. So I went and did some digging, trying to find out all my sources. And I'll be very honest with you, folks. This is kind of a hard call for me. I got this information. I want to be very, very careful with it. I want to choose my words correctly. But it's hard to do. It's hard to do. And I'm going to tell you folks right up front that if I were writing a newspaper story or going on News Channel 8 tonight, I would not go with this story. I wouldn't do it because I'd have to have at least 3 sources to go with it. And right now I've got one very, very trusted source who I think is spot on, and a couple other corroborating sources that are a little bit more iffy, so to speak, about the information. So I've kind of made this decision to kind of go with what I've been told, to give you guys the information, and I'm going to couch it as best I can. And what I want to do here is go through all of this. Now, listen, if Tom Brady would come out and just tell everybody what's going on with this situation, that would be awesome. That's what we would all love. But the bottom line is we don't have that. Tom Brady has not talked about this, and there's probably a very good reason for that. So with the lack of press conferences from Tom Brady and the fact that the Bucs really don't want to talk about anything specific here is going to lead to speculation, right? And that's part of it. But this is obviously, to Buccaneer fans and maybe the NFL in general, the biggest story in the world right now. And when Todd Bowles says that he's coming back after the Tennessee game and then amends that to say we're not exactly sure when he's coming back, obviously antenna are going to go up. Like, what the hell is going on with the greatest player in the history of the National Football League? And so we've kind of made the decision here on the show that we're going to give you what we know, and you can decide what's going on. So we're going to start this with what Todd Bowles said yesterday after the practice when asked about Brady coming back. Obviously, he said earlier that he was coming back after the Tennessee game. So this is Todd Bowles' post-practice yesterday. They got everything going again.
We'll see. We'll talk about it next week. Not concerned about it right now. We're trying to practice against Tennessee and play a game. I said sometime after Tennessee. There's no definitive date for me, but we'll check on it. We'll keep in touch, and we'll find out.
So obviously the Bucs are being very tight-lipped about it, but also when you talk to Buccaneer officials off the record, off camera, the biggest thing you get is there's not really a huge concern that he's not going to play. And Nick, we've talked about this, for Brady's legacy, and obviously he's extremely concerned about his legacy. We know that. He cannot walk away from this right now with all the players that he brought in, with all the fans that are already invested in this, I just don't see any way possible for him to be able to walk away from this team right now. I don't, but there's a caveat.
It's hard to fathom that he would, honestly, at this point. But again, nothing surprises me anymore with Tom Brady in general, actually. And this offseason has been the most non-conventional, everything against the book of Tom Brady for the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
It really has been, and has been the entire Bucs offseason in general.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that's alarming here, is this is not normal for Tom Brady. It's not normal for any NFL quarterback at this time of the year to go on a 10-day, whatever, we don't even really know, hiatus for whatever it is. Pre-planned. For whatever the reason is. I know there's a good reason. I respect him if he wants to keep it private. That's all up his judgment.
Yeah.
But it's not normal. And at this point, given what Todd Bowles said yesterday, it seems like the verbiage has changed a little bit just 1 week later, and we don't know. Yeah, it's concerning.
And I think the reason that they don't know, because I think it's a little bit open-ended. And the information that I got from a very trusted source is that Tom Brady is working on his family. He's working on his family time. You can construe that to be working on his marriage, working on, keeping his family together. I think the NFL Network reported it as a work-life balance, and that's what he's working on. And this is also why everybody is so tight-lipped about what's going on. Nobody wants to talk about some other guy's family situation, right? And all the signs point to this. Obviously, we heard Giselle after the Super Bowl win. What more do you have to prove? I mean, it's kind of a running joke that she wants her Tom Brady, and who wouldn't, right, in that situation? And it keeps going on and on. Then we have obviously the retirement. Clearly there was some pressure there within the family to, this is family time. We've heard Tom Brady talk about this, right? At length, we've heard Tom Brady talk about this, that, he grew up with a dad and parents that were there all the time. They sacrificed everything for him. And I think in a lot of ways, he feels guilty that he's not able to do. Well, he said that, it's not mine. These are quotes from him. Obviously not quoting, but characterizing what he said about family. And I think, yes, he is really, really wrestling with it. And I do think this was something that was pre-planned. And obviously this all fits together. And, from my information, they're overseas somewhere and working on that part. So, and again, nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to get specific about it. Nobody wants to be in their business, but everybody wants to know. And, first and foremost, I wish him the best. I got a divorce, a very nasty one. It's not pretty. It can get very, very ugly. I'm not suggesting that's what's going on here at all. But as a lot of us guys know, we've been through this pressure, and I can't even imagine what it's like for Tom Brady and Giselle living in that fishbowl. I can't even imagine what kind of pressures and different things come into their lives. And yeah, we've talked about it. You just showed it on this. Is that up on Twitter again?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, there's the tabloid covers talking about, Brady and Giselle in marriage. We put no stock into that, but that, that's out there. That's out in the sphere. Right. So everything is kind of pointing to this. And, all we can say is what Devin White said. Do we have that one queued up? This is what Devin White said last week that I thought, kind of went under the radar. But obviously, Devin White, and, he's a guy that cares so much about his teammates that that he's going, obviously find out what's going on with Tom. And I think he gave us a glimpse, maybe perhaps more than anybody else, into what's going on. And if you look at it through the lens of what we've just talked about, well, listen to Devin White now.
Oh, I mean, he's a grown man, growner than a lot of us in the locker room. And, he's a human. At the end of the day, he got personal problems going on, but he's a guy that he's been doing this so long, he don't need to be here. If he's not here, we know he's still working. He got a great supporting cast around him, and he going to get his work in, whether, if he here or not here. So when he come back, he'll never miss a beat, and that's the only important thing, But more than football, we praying for whatever he got going on as a human being, and we hope everybody else do too. And I mean, that's all we ask for him, is for his well-being. Football comes second. Him being a human comes first.
Well, there you go. I mean, when you listen to that in terms of what we've heard, a personal problem, We're praying for him. We know that there's no health issues with anybody. I mean, that to me is spot on right there. And we're praying for him. You know, well, let's listen to Todd Bowles. This is what Todd Bowles said last week originally when he first gave us the news that Brady was leaving practice, or a couple of weeks ago.
Tom has been excused today. He will be taken anywhere. He'll be back sometime around after Tennessee. He's going to deal with some personal things. This is something we talked about before training camp started. We allotted this time because he wanted to get in and get chemistry with the guys and go through 2 weeks of training camp, knowing he wasn't going to play the first 2 games. He didn't want to take away reps from Blaine and Kyle, and as well as Griff, as far as going into these next 2 games. And it's something he needs to handle. We trust him. We talked about it. It was scheduled way before training camp, and he will not be here until after Tennessee.
So something he has to handle. You know, this is not, and it's pre-planned. Everything points to this. And if you go back and look at the timeline, the retirement, coming back from retirement, the whole thing that went on with the Miami Dolphins, him trying to get to Miami. You know, think about that. If you're a Buccaneers fan, and, you know, you might shiver a little bit, but what if that was part of the promise to Giselle saying, hey, I know we want to build this home in Miami. I could be closer to our home in Miami. I'm sure, you know, she's not enjoying moving from house to house here in Tampa, having to move out of the Jeter house and into a new house on Davis Islands. You know, they started to build that house down in Miami. You know, to get to Miami is probably something that Giselle wanted. And again, this is all speculation. We're just putting it all together, folks. We're just talking here. We're just some folks talking here. And, you know, this all kind of jives and comes together. To me, it is exactly what's happening. And nobody wants to talk about that publicly. I mean, think about going through, you know, issues like this in the biggest public sphere possible with 2 of the biggest celebrities on the planet. I mean, it happens, but I don't think there's ever been a celebrity marriage like this in the NFL. I mean, we see it in Hollywood, but this is as big as it gets. How do you keep the most personal things in your life private in this situation? It's almost impossible.
Well, that's why I say, if this is the real thing that's actually going on here, and, you know, you have a source obviously that's indicated that, but we don't know 100% sure, obviously.
No.
But if it is, I mean, there is obviously no reason for Tom Brady to put that out there. And really,
I mean, what's he going to say? Come to the press conference? Hey, you know, I'm having issues at home.
It's the media's job to find out what's going on.
Right.
It always is.
That's what we're trying to do.
When 2 things don't connect, so you have to. I mean, you're really not doing your job if you're not looking to figure out what's going on. And I feel like every reporter has said that when a lot of people jump on reporters. Well, why do y'all care? Why do y'all need to know? Because it's their job to care. It's our job to care.
And it does, you know, very much affect the Buccaneers. I mean, everyone at the Buccaneers feels very confident. I've been texting with people this morning. They're very confident that Tom is coming back. They're not really sure of the timeline of how that's working out, but they're very confident that he's coming back, and they want to allow him as much time as possible to get this done. Because if he comes back to the Bucs and says, listen, I've got some stuff at home that I really need to take care of, and all the verbiage that we just played points to that, and they say, listen, man, whatever you got to do, you got to do. You need to take 2 weeks in training camp. Take 2 weeks in training camp. We just want you back by the first week. You know, those conversations happen,
and that's fine.
And that's fine. Absolutely.
That's fine.
So, and I've seen people talk about, well, you know, we might not, you know, it might be that, you know, he's working with a new center, some new players, new this, new that. Look, who cares? You know, family comes first. And obviously, in order to play this year, he had to probably sign off on a lot of things that he hasn't done in the past. And that's just my opinion. And this is one of them. He's never left training camp but again, from a football sense, there's no reason for him to be here. Devin White said that, you know, if you know anything about NFL football, there's no reason for him to be here. And as I said yesterday, I think it's an advantage for him not being here at 45 years of age to take 2 weeks off in the middle of training camp to give your arm a rest and your elbow a rest. I mean, look what Matthew Stafford is dealing with. Yeah. That's a plus. He doesn't need to be here.
Yeah, and I don't think the players really mind at all.
Oh, hell no.
I don't think a single player there is going, man, I can't believe Tom's not here. You know, even the newer guys that he brought in. I mean,
some of his former receivers might be tweeting like, oh, look how they treat Tom Brady. But
enough. I'm not giving him any
Yeah.
Not even saying his name. We're just going to call him him.
Yeah.
But also to another thing to keep in mind, I want to say this was like 4 years ago, maybe a little longer. I'm not sure. But I'm almost positive that there was a time where Brady did skip out on some workouts with the team.
He's never gone to OTAs.
But there was something that happened. I believe it was during the summer. I don't think it was. It was like mini camp or something. And he left the team for like a week or whatever to go be with Giselle. And that was when that was going on then. And he even talked about that in that documentary, Man in the Arena.
Yeah.
When things were tough. And so he's done this before.
Yep.
The difference is this is training camp and the regular season is a few weeks away. That's always going to be the difference here. That's why it's a bigger story. That's why we're speculating. That's why we're talking about it, to be honest. And that's why we're all concerned. Yeah. Like, I don't want them to get lost in this. We are concerned for what's going on. Not just in the sense of concern for the Bucs, because we're really not. I'm concerned for him.
Yes, absolutely.
And his family.
100%.
What's going on?
His kids, his family.
I think everybody's pointed to, what if it's his parents? Because I believe his mom is a cancer survivor.
Right.
His dad battled COVID, and it wasn't really good when he had it. And the thing to that is, by this point, there's so many tabloids out there. There's so many TMZs out there. You'd think somebody at this point would have called every hospital there is. And have ran this down.
Yeah. So I think
I have no reason to believe that that's it right now.
It's not health. It's not health related.
And we've had Ian Rappaport has said that as well, that there's nothing with the family, so that we've kind of been able to rule that out. So I guess this is the only logical thing you can go to if it's family related.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is.
Yeah, and again, nobody wants to say it out loud.
It's uncomfortable to talk about.
It's very uncomfortable to talk about it. Like I said, I've been through it. Many have been through this, and it's not something that you ever want to be public. I mean, we've seen some celebrity divorces and how ugly they can get, and people are going to root it out and get all the information that they can possibly get. And it's not, of course he wants to keep it under wraps. Everybody who wants to talk about that in public, for God's sakes, if indeed this is the case.
The Kardashians have no problem.
Well, yeah,
but
they make money off
they're
of it.
a little bit different.
Yeah. This is a totally different situation. So yeah, I mean, all I think we can really do is echo exactly what Devin White said, that it's, we pray for Tom, we pray for his entire family, that they work this out and find some peace and ways to move forward. But I think every Buccaneer fan is asking themselves this key question, and the Buccaneer staff and everybody can be as confident as they possibly can be that Tom Brady is coming back. But you're getting ready to be married. I've been there and in multiple relationships. You can't predict what's going to happen. You can't predict. You don't know in these situations what the hell's going to happen. You don't know where it's going to go. I don't want to speculate about what the end game is here. We all know what that is. But we just want it to be better. We just want it to be better. And here's the other part about it. If Tom Brady is not in a good headspace to play, should he play? There's we talk about this with golfers all the time. If your head's not clear with your personal life, and you hear golfers talk about this all the time, and all athletes, it's hard to do what he does at the level that he does it, without having a great support system and everything being great at home, which is what he's always had with Giselle and the kids. I mean, his family life is from what we've seen, and he's taken us behind the curtain in a lot of, very intimate ways. He has the perfect family, but as we all know, nothing is ever perfect, right? And this has got to be a tremendous strain on the family. He's talked about it. I'm not saying anything out of turn here. He's talked about this, and he's talked about the life-work balance. And there's no question, at least in my mind, from the information that I got, that he's struggling with it. And to say, just like Todd Bowles the other day, would he say 100% that he's coming back? No, he wouldn't. He said, there's always a doubt. There's always a doubt. And that's a man that's been married, I don't know, for a long, long time. Everybody, if you're a married man, you know what these situations are about, and you can't predict the outcome. So will he be able to come back? Everybody believes he will. Everybody's counting on him coming back. I find it really hard for him to be able to let down his teammates, but I'm going to tell you this. If there's an ultimatum that wherever they're at in their place, if there's an ultimatum, family wins. Family should win. Family wins. And if that's what it comes down to, I would completely respect his decision. And I think everybody, all his teammates would have to respect his decision. Fans, especially. I know some would get pissed off, but it's family first. That's what comes first. And with Tom, that means a lot to him. It means a lot to him. So all we can do is sit back and wait. I don't think we're ever going to get any, this may come out in a couple of years in some of the media that he does moving forward. Another episodic series for him. Another man in the arena next episode, but it will be on his time and on the information that he wants to put out there. So that's all we're going to say about that. So we just wish him the best, and we hope everything works out for the family. We hope it works out for everybody. We hope he gets back here in a great frame of mind. And this is another thing. There were media reports out there. I think some of the New England reporters were down here in Tampa for the joint practices, and one of the the narratives was that Tom looks miserable out there. He looks miserable out there, and I've kind of noted that myself. He looked miserable at the press conference that he gave 3 weeks ago. It just there seems to be a different vibe around Brady this year, around training camp. I've talked about what I perceived as him limiting his reps in the passing drills. I don't recall him doing that in years past. So I do think there's probably something that he's 45 years old. That'd be a good idea to limit your reps. So, but it just didn't seem like, from afar, and obviously we're not in the huddle. It just didn't seem like the old Brady, and even the intense Brady. At least there were times when, I saw in one drill where there was 3 or 4 passes in one practice that either the wide receiver ran the wrong route or Brady threw it, 20 yards offline. We know which one that is. And normally he would, rip into the receiver and get on him, and he didn't do it. He may have done it later, but he didn't do it publicly where we've seen him do it before. So it just seems like a different vibe. And I think what the Bucs are hoping, and I think what all Buccaneer fans are hoping, is that he takes this time and gets to a good headspace and can come back and play the season. And that's what we're all hoping for. And then the most important thing, that his family is good to go. And that's the best that we can hope for. So again, I'm not sitting here reporting this as fact. I'm not reporting this as, this is an imminent, breakup or something like that. Not doing any of that. But I've just been told that he's overseas. He's working with the work-life balance and trying to get to a good place. And with the Ryan Jensen thing, are there regrets that, that he came back? Do you think he's thinking through this again? Of course. That's only he's only human. With all of this circling around him, would he have thoughts and doubts of whether this was the right decision? Absolutely. What man wouldn't? But
I think it strictly have to do with family, though, for him coming back.
Yes.
Having doubts. I don't think the Ryan Jensen thing.
I think it all fits in.
I mean, of course he's going to be annoyed
because the only reason he's back here is to win a Super Bowl, not to go to the first round of the playoffs, not to win the 2 playoff games, not to set any more records. There's none of that. It's to win the Super Bowl. Yeah. And you can look at the Vegas odds. When Jensen got hurt, the Bucs odds went down. And I think they're now behind the Rams for the NFC. It's significant. And the fact that the Bucs have not replaced him with a veteran is significant.
And you have to keep in mind, too, that Tristan Wirfs did get hurt yesterday.
Yes. Hello.
And I don't want to bury that by any means, because we saw what this team looked like last year without him, and it wasn't pretty. It was not pretty at all.
No. And they have very little depth at tackle.
Yeah. And I don't think they provided a timetable, but it came out late last night. I think Greg Auman called it is an oblique strain. And I think that's typically a 3 to 6 week injury in some cases.
Well, it
depends.
Oblique strain is all about the severity.
It's all about the severity of it.
You can lightly pull it and be back in a week. If it's a significant pull,
yeah, we don't know.
You're talking about a core injury to an offensive tackle.
Yeah. I'm assuming we're going to get maybe a better update today, maybe tomorrow. Who knows?
But again, this is soft tissue, and you're going to have to. Those things are all guesses anyway.
Yeah, and
that chance of re-injury also.
To me, that's more of a serious thing than Ryan Jensen, honestly. They're both equally important. Don't get me wrong, but I think just the way that the Bucs played last year without Tristan Wirfs, it was hard to watch. To be honest.
Very hard. Yeah,
and I don't think the plan is to have Josh Wells take any major snaps this year. To be honest, or Fred Johnson, whoever they want to put, they have to put there.
Yeah.
I know that whoever's going to be playing on right tackle this weekend.
Well,
God bless you.
Gedeke did play right tackle in college at Western Michigan.
But Gedeke is now looks like he's solidified the left guard spot.
I don't think he solidified anything. And if they need him to, to try him
I
at
think
left,
Todd Bowles
right
said it.
tackle.
He's like, it's his time. He knows the playbook. It's his time now.
No,
he's playing left guard. They've had to move. We talked about with Scott yesterday. They've had to do 3 different things to him. I mean, the fact that he goes from Central Michigan all the way to the NFL, right tackle. So I think he started like right guard first, or maybe center, and then to left guard. Yeah, he's moved all over.
It's almost like a right-handed because your set leg is different, or your steps are different. It's like it's almost like a right-handed pitcher going to a left-handed. Yeah. Maybe not that dramatic, but
no,
it's difficult transition.
No, what you have over there is what you have, and it's Josh Wells and it's Fred Johnson.
Yeah,
that's what you have.
That's which ain't Tristan Wirfs. It's
nobody in the league is.
No, so think about it right now. If that's a significant injury, and Ryan Jensen is a significant injury. I mean, do you think this doesn't factor in? Of course it does. It has to factor in.
I know things happen at camp all the time, but is it almost concerning to you that it just seems like we're already starting down that road of guys getting nicked up, and I don't mean like nicked up in the sense of, oh yeah, he's a little sore today. I mean, these are actual things that we're diagnosing, like oblique strains. I mean, we got like 5 or 6 key guys with hamstrings, and those things are so tricky to the point where Mike Evans and Russell Gage still haven't even practiced yet.
Well, Gage is running again, full speed. I don't think anybody's really worried about Mike Evans, but look,
he does it every year.
It is what it is. And you look out there right now at this Buccaneers team that's out there on the field, and I know we're still 3 weeks away or more from September 11th. Look, will this be a much different team? Yes, of course it will. Will it have Tristan Wirfs? We don't know. Will it have Ryan Jensen? We don't know. Well, certainly not Ryan Jensen. Who's playing center? It's a guy that has never given a meaningful snap to Tom Brady or any quarterback in the NFL. You're going to have a brand new left guard, and now maybe even a brand new right tackle. That's a game changer.
I don't know.
That's a game changer. That's a game changer. So
especially with the way the Bucs schedule opens, again, we don't know how long Tristan Wirfs is going to be out, but we know he's going to be out for at least a little bit here. Probably the rest of training camp, if I had to guess with this. You don't want to start the season based on the way the Bucs have to start it without Jensen and without Wirfs. You don't want to do that. You already know you're doing it without Jensen. I don't think you can afford to not have Wirfs out there for the first game or two. Well,
we shall see. Jason Light may be very busy depending on how these injuries fall out with trades, with, looking at, where you going to find anybody right now on the street that, although there are some good players out there on the street, but they take money and the Bucs don't have a whole lot left. So we're going to see in the next week or so how this all develops, and it's a story. It may be the biggest story in the NFL right now, and I think that's why everybody is talking about it. And we hope to God that all is well. All right, got a couple of comments coming in here. We'll put them up. If Brady fam jetted to Brazil, which is in winter, he would be totally off the grid. Look, as famous as they are, they also are very rich. So if they want to get off the grid, I would think that they could do it, even in this society. And clearly they have, because we haven't seen anything from them in a week, have we not?
There was a post that Gronk had yesterday on Instagram, and Tom Brady liked the post. And from what everybody's saying, I think it's like the first thing of social media that he's done all week, since ever the news came out that he was leaving. So take that with what you will. He's on his phone, at least.
Interesting. G Rockhead says, what's the news on USF? You hinted at you should get Coach Jeff Scott on the show one day, by the way, would be huge, and he'd be open to it. Well, yeah, he's been on the show many times, and we're going to have him on before the season starts, probably next week at some point. So, yeah, we'll definitely get him on. We got Skip Holtz coming up, former USF coach, so we'll chat with him in a little bit. But yeah, the news I have on USF, I can't release it just yet. All I can tell you is it is a big deal for them from a media standpoint here locally. It's going to give them a hell of a lot more exposure. It's just another step in this journey of the new stadium is coming. I really have a good feeling about the leadership of this football team. And if they can take a big step this year, and I mean by winning 6-7 games, being in the hunt for the conference championship, that's just going to continue this momentum. The leadership they have there with President Rhea, and who is very, very much a supporter of athletics, which is, I think, drastic departure from previous leadership. And with Michael Kelly, who I think is one of the best ADs and the most connected ADs in football, in college athletics, and Jeff Scott, I just feel that there's great things happening. When you see a lot of really exceptional people gravitating to one organization, eventually there's going to be excellence there. And that's what I see at USF. And they're getting resources. They're going to announce this new on-campus stadium probably within the next, I would say, 3 to 5 months. Michael Kelly has basically said it's going to be online by 2026. And as they, as conference realignment happens, this is something very big for USF. So hopefully we'll be able to bring you this news tomorrow. George Culiano says, thoughts on Timmy McClain transferring. How do you feel this will affect the Bulls long term? You had an interesting thing here. It's going to UCF. What's his position at UCF now?
All I know is that Will Turner and Stephen Leonard, who's the 24/7 Nights guy, they put the crystal ball on UCF yesterday together of Timmy McClain to UCF.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Oh, so it's not a done deal.
It's not a done deal, but the fact when you get the crystal ball, it's usually it's about to come.
Okay.
Okay.
And if he goes there, where would he be? Would he be in the hunt for a starting position? He can't even play this year. He's not even eligible this year. Yeah.
He'll redshirt. I can tell you right now, the two quarterbacks they have right now, Mikey Keene, he's probably on par with him. And then the other one, John Rice Plumlee, he was Matt Corral's backup at Ole Miss.
Right.
I think he kind of transformed to a receiver. Now UCF's going to play him as a quarterback. I think Timmy McClain's better than him. So, but the problem is UCF has a really good recruit that's a redshirt this year, I think. So it's nothing guaranteed there either. But
if he goes to UCF, he's not in a better position. He's in a worse position than he was at USF.
He's fighting for more with more guys.
But I understand that situation for him. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Skip Holtz is going to join us fresh off his USFL championship in Birmingham, former USF coach. We'll chat with him about all things college football. Obviously, a lot going on with realignment, so we'll talk about that when we come back. Stay with us. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@am.
Three 291 FACT. That's emerginginv.com. We're Emerging Investigations. We get results in life's biggest matters.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Emerging Investigation, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. If you suspect your spouse is cheating or you're involved in a divorce and you need some help or a criminal matter, they are the folks to go to. Licensed and insured private investigation agency. They use high-tech instruments and techniques to get the results that you want. So if you're having any issues, do what many local attorneys, insurance agencies, and other concerned neighbors do. They call Emerging Investigations for the biggest answers on life's biggest problems. Go to the website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. All right, we want to welcome in the champion of the USFL with the head coach of the Birmingham Stallions, former USF head coach, the great Skip Holtz, joining us here. What's up, Skip? How are you?
I'm doing great, JP. How are things going for you today?
Fantastic. We're breaking some news here on the Tom Brady front, which we hope. I told you a little bit about it, and and I'm not asking you to comment on Tom Brady and Giselle, but you have a lovely wife who I've known for many, many years. You guys have an unbelievable marriage. And I just can't imagine what it's like being a head coach, being in the spotlight and all the pressures that you have to go through and the time commitments that you have to put in. I mean, you have to have an MVP wife in order to pull this off, right? In football.
There's no doubt. I mean, we've been married for over 30 years. And I always joke that we're still married because we both didn't want a divorce at the same time. Marriage is a little bit give and take, and everything. And it does, especially with the demands that a sport, especially in season, takes out of your time. And you become almost an individual, even though you work together as a team in the off season with everything, but it really becomes a time commitment wise. And so it is hard. You do need a very understanding wife. And I have been very blessed, and Jennifer and I, who met when we were at Florida State, which is where our relationship goes back to quite a bit. I mean, over 35 years ago. But I am very blessed, and I'm very fortunate to have a special woman that has stood by my side, even with probably the neglect that she's received during the football season. So it is hard, and it's give and take. And I don't know what's going on. Believe me, I've had plenty of players that weren't as good as Tom Brady that needed to be excused from practice for personal reasons. So I think if anybody's earned it for whatever that reason is, that would be Tom Brady for sure. Yeah, we all just wish him the best and hope it all works out for the best. And hopefully he can come back and play for the Buccaneers one last time. They can win a Super Bowl, and it'll be another fairy tale story. Speaking of a fairy tale story, can you imagine when the guys at the USFL called you and said, "Hey, we want you to coach"? Did you ever in your wildest dreams think that it would? I mean, you guys had an unbelievable season, incredible ratings on Fox. What an experience. Take me through this whole deal. It was incredible, and one that I thoroughly enjoyed. I've been in college football for 35 years, and never really had a desire to coach in the NFL or to coach professional football. I love the development side of the game in college. I love bringing a young man in at 17 years old, sitting in his living room, recruiting them, bringing them to college, and through a 4 or 5 year experience, watching them grow and mature and develop as a student, as a football player, as an individual, as a person. I mean, I enjoyed the development side of it. And I don't know. I think there's a lot of that's leaving with the NIL, with the transfer portal. The reasons guys are picking schools today aren't maybe the place where they can be their best or can develop the most, or get a degree. It's who's going to pay them the most money. Yeah. And it's kind of left that. And then, you have a freshman that has a great year and he's in the transfer portal because he wants something bigger and better. And so it's a changing dynamic right now in college football. And so when I got the phone call from Brian Woods at the USFL, they asked me to come talk to him about it. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know it was about to start up. And he called me in January and said, "I'd love for you to be the head coach of one of our teams." And what an incredible experience. You put your staff together in January. We had the draft in February. The players reported in mid-March, and we we ended up playing our first game in mid-April and going through the season. You know, when you draft a team, people said, what do you expect? And I said 30 days ago, we didn't even have anybody on our roster. Right. So I don't know what to expect. I mean, how do you put it together in 3 weeks and then go play your first game? And we found a way to come from behind and win the first game. And we just had a group of guys that really came together. It was a breath of fresh air when you would call a player and let them know you're going to draft them. And some of them would cry. I mean, just they wanted the opportunity. But when you think about it, JP, many of these players, they go play in college and they're great players. And then they go into the NFL and maybe they get put on a practice roster or a practice squad and then they get cut. Well, there's not many other places to go play.
Right.
And so their dream ends up dying right there. And when you call a young man and give him that opportunity to go play again, I mean, it's just like they came in. And I use the analogy, it was like everybody was taking a football class, and if you want to keep playing, you got to make an A. And I mean, in meetings, guys are asking questions. Now, coach, when that linebacker comes underneath, do you want me to go over the top? Do you want me to try and fight to get underneath them? I mean, they're taking notes. I mean, I loved it. I loved the relationship with the players. I loved watching those guys come together and to be able to finish it off and go 11-1 with our one setback being a 2-point loss. I was just really proud of what these guys were able to accomplish. And I'd be lying if I said, yeah, I saw it coming. I knew we were going to do it. Wow. It was one of those things that once you drafted your team and you put them together, and you've got Victor Bolden from Oregon State, who was a heck of a player out there, and you've got Scooby Wright, who was one of the best linebackers in the country. Your running backs, Bo Scarborough from Alabama. Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of talent in that league, and there are, out of that league that just finished in July, there's over 50 players in an NFL camp right now. So a lot of talent of guys that are having the opportunity to potentially rejuvenate their career, and it was a lot of fun, really enjoyed it, and it was something that I didn't think I would be excited about professional football, but absolutely love dealing with a 26, 27, 28-year-old rather than a 17-year-old.
And obviously the first year, all the games were played in Birmingham, which is y'all were the hometown team, obviously, and there was always a great atmosphere when y'all were playing. I mean, how did you kind of feel that fan support, and how receptive was the city to having a professional sports team?
Well, Birmingham opened their arms. Alabama football is big, as it is in most of the places down here in the South, but especially when you look at Alabama and Auburn, the success they've had, there's not a professional team in Alabama, a professional football team. And so for many of those people, they cheer for the Saints or they cheer for, Atlanta, some of the closest teams. But that's been one of the things that's been really cool that I've really enjoyed was watching the people there really embrace it. I think it was a great model that Fox and NBC put together with a hub there in Birmingham with all 8 teams operating there. You got an opportunity to know Kyle Sloter, who was on an opposing team. You got an opportunity to get to know the other coaches, to get to know the other players. I mean, think about it. You've got 450 players and 100 coaches that are all living together in the same hotel. Meeting rooms are there in the convention center, different practice sites. The logistics to it was a nightmare a little bit, trying to put it all together. But what a great experience for those players and for the coaches and everybody involved. And the ratings were great. I mean, I think definitely it showed that there's a need, that there is a want or a desire. And where Fox was really smart is they're trying to find a product to put on the television for Q2, something between the Masters and the All-Star break. And just the ratings and the way that we competed with some of the other professional sports showed that there's a huge demand. And I thought the product was a whole lot better than I thought it would be with the limited time we had to put it together. But I thought the product was really competitive on the field.
We're talking with Skip Holtz, the 2016 Conference USA Coach of the Year, Birmingham Stallions, USFL champion, coach as well, 2-time Conference USA champion, and, of course, coached at USF. And I got to ask you about this, Coach. I don't know if you even know this. You probably do, but there is a renewed invigoration at the USF in terms of athletics. The new president coming in, President Rhea, is all on board with the new on-campus stadium. Michael Kelly, I think, is one of the best ADs in college athletics, and he's got this dialed in to be ready for 2026. And you don't have to say it; I'll say it for you. That wasn't always the case when you were there. There wasn't significant support for athletics. That's my opinion, not yours. Just make that clear.
Yep.
But this is an exciting time for USF. You know how hard that job is, but you also know what incredible potential this program has. What are your thoughts?
Unbelievable. And I think Coach Scott's going to do a great job. I think the world of him. I've known him. We're all kind of spider-webbed when I worked with his father, Brad, at Florida State. And so I think he's a really good football coach. I think he's doing a great job, a lot of excitement and energy. But I would agree. I mean, I think when you look at the commitment there that's being made right now, the indoor facility is finally being built. The on-campus stadium is something that's being talked about. And I always said, even 12 years ago when I was there at South Florida, and have just incredible memories from my time there. I know, we had some great wins against Miami and Clemson, and beat Notre Dame up there. I mean, we had some great successes. But to see the commitment that's being made there right now, the university has put an incredible amount of money into the dorms, the villages there on campus. It was known as such a commuter school for so long, and they have developed such a great infrastructure of building an on-campus atmosphere. I always said I think it's a shame that people would fly in from all over the country to watch a game. They would fly into Tampa, they'd stay downtown, they'd go to Raymond James, great stadium. They'd get in their plane and they'd fly home, and they'd never get to campus. And all the great facilities that are being built up there, the structure, not just from an athletic standpoint, although that commitment has been huge, but even from an academic and campus structure standpoint. We talked about the dorms and the dining halls and building an on-campus. Really, it's got a beautiful campus.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the future for South Florida. I am always a fan, huge fan, great memories. Still have a place down there right outside of Tampa that we stay at. I really enjoy that place, and I am pulling hard, and it's great to see the commitment from much of the leadership there and the direction that the university is going. And I don't think we're done when you start talking about conference realignment and movements and who's going to play where, but I don't think there was ever a better motto of if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
And, you look at what's happened. Cincinnati built it. Houston's built it, made a commitment. Central Florida, what they did to build their on-campus stadium 12 years ago, and to build the indoor and to make these infrastructure changes on campus, that all of a sudden when people are trying to look at different places to expand, obviously you're looking for a university that's made a commitment to its athletic department and can make a commitment. And I think South Florida definitely brings an awful lot to the table with Florida, with recruiting, with the facilities, with everything that they have in place. I think an awful lot of that place, and I'm excited for their future and their growth.
Wow, I think USF fans are going to love to hear that. Skip Holtz joining us here. Hey, Coach, just one more if I can, and I know this might be a lengthy answer, but you mentioned the portal. You mentioned NIL. I know a lot of football coaches out there are not enjoying college football as they used to. This is a humongous change. Yesterday, the Big Ten announced $8 billion deal over 7 years. The money is just – it's staggering. But, with this NIL, nobody knows where it's going. Conference realignment. I'll put the commissioner grand poobah hat on Skip Holtz. How would you fix this? How would you bring this back together? Because right now this is a runaway train.
It is a runaway train, and there's somehow everybody's got to get their arms around it. You've always heard the expression that college football is big business. That big business was distributed amongst 120 teams 10, 15 years ago. When the Power Five broke away, when the college football playoff started, and more or less said, you know what, the winner's going to come out of these 4 or 5 conferences. let's break off and do our own thing. I don't think anybody realized how big the money was going to get.
Right.
Not only from the CFP, the college football playoff, but also from the television packages. And it's what you see going on right now. You've got every conference really that is, every conference is just trying to strengthen themselves, trying to build the best package they can, financially, television-wise, to build their programs. And the NIL, now that genie is out of the bottle, I don't think that can ever be put back in the bottle. I don't know that can ever be put back in. I'm all for these players making money. I just think there has to be some type of form or structure put together right now. I mean, at least in the NFL, you have salary caps, you have recruiting, you have there's rules and regulations put in place to keep it under control, so it's not just Wild West and everybody's recruiting your players. There's rules and regulations in place to make sure that it can be competitive, and I think that's something that's going to have to happen. There's a lot smarter brains than mine that are going to put something together, I'm sure. But I think that definitely there's got to be some type of parity for college football to put all that together.
Yeah, and I don't know what entity that can do it. The NCAA doesn't seem powerful enough to do it. So I'm not sure where it ends, but somebody needs to do it. Maybe it's you. We'll make you the commissioner. I mean, you've been in college between you and your dad. I mean, you guys have been in college football for well over 60 years, maybe longer than that. And so, I mean, we need a brain trust. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see a blue ribbon panel of people like yourself, especially you, because you coached at the Louisiana Techs, you've coached at the FSUs, the South Carolinas, the USFs. You've been at every level, so you know the unique position that all these different programs are in. And but when the money gets this big, people get really, really greedy. I don't know if you've seen that, Skip. But so, and then to tell them you're going to have to redistribute it. Yeah,
you're seeing. Yeah, you see it when UCLA and USC join the Big Ten.
Right.
You're like scratching your head like, what? They're going Texas and Oklahoma. I mean, what we know as college football and these great conferences and these great rivalries and the geographic, the way it's spread out throughout the country is all part of the pageantry and the circus and the excitement and of people that are alumni of schools. Now all of a sudden that's going to go. I'm telling you, I think the way it goes, and I know it'll never happen because once somebody gets to one of those conferences, they're never going to change.
Yeah.
But you keep hearing about this MLS soccer hierarchy that they have, the system they have in place where you have groups 1 through 6.
Yeah.
And the bottom 2 teams of Group 1 drop to Group 2. The top 2 groups of Group 2 go up to Group 1, where you have people that are willing to make that commitment, that want to play at that level, have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think there's something like that probably is in the future because right now, the way it is right now, it is definitely the haves and the have-nots and those that are willing to make the commitment and jump on board. They're certainly being rewarded financially for it, for some of the conferences being put together right now.
All right, Skip, we've taken up way too much of your time. We really appreciate it, man. Thanks for your time. Hope to chat with you down the line. Maybe we'll get you on to talk some college football, the actual on-the-field stuff. What's next for you? Quickly, if you can share.
I'd love to. I'd love to do it. So for the first time in 35 years, I'm in the fall. I've been traveling around, going to different camps, going to go to different games, take in a bunch of different college football, and like I said, never had the opportunity to do this. So certainly enjoying this little downtime right now during the fall. So looking forward to catching a bunch of these football games and looking forward to catching up with you. I've always had great respect for you, JP, and the job you do and the professionalism you do it with.
I really appreciate that. Say hello to Jen for me, and you guys have some fun in this downtime.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks, JP. Talk again soon.
All right,
bye now.
Thanks. Great. Skip Holtz right there. Wow, there's a lot to digest right there. You want to take a break and come back and dig into college football and how we fix this and where it's all going. I mean, you hear a coach that's been that involved in all levels of programs saying, something's got to happen. Something's got to happen. It's a runaway train. If you're a college football fan, you got to be a little bit concerned. You really do. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. We'll talk some college football. We're kind of running through a lot of different information here, so we'll take a breath, come back. There's been some reaction to the Tom Brady stuff. We'll get to that and more when we come back. JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new, healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida. Military veterans, are you struggling with alcoholism or substance abuse? Is it taking a toll on your relationships and your work life? Are you having trouble focusing, constantly anxious? Well, you may not be surprised to know that your fellow military vets have your six. Heroes Mile is a new concept in rehabilitation clinics, veterans helping veterans. At Heroes Mile, we staff our rehab center with fellow veterans who can understand what you're going through. Our mission is to help you heal from issues that only your fellow veterans can truly understand. Located just outside of DeLand, we offer a full range of inpatient and outpatient programs dealing with substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, and military sexual trauma. We choose to serve veterans because we know how complex these issues are. You could choose to fight the battle alone or win the war together. We are the community care provider with the VA and also accept most major insurance. At Heroes Mile Rehabilitation Center, we have your six. Go to heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. That's heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road. If you're looking for some of the great men's fashion jewelry, it's all the rage these days, the fashion rings, the necklaces, bracelets, or looking for a big baller watch, a Rolex watch. They also have nicely gently used watches as well, much better value for you if you're looking for that. Great selection of pre-owned watches at the Gold and Diamond Source. And, of course, if you're looking for an engagement ring, there's no place better to go. You got to go there because you can trust them, folks. Don't try to buy a diamond online or for some, fly-by-night company that may look like they're getting you a great deal. Trust me, it's not. Go to the place that has been there for decades and decades, supports all the charities in your community. That's the Gold and Diamond Source. Great staff there. Nick got his ring there. He loves it. Great experience. So check them out, the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. We're also brought to you by Emerging Investigations. Find them at emerginginv.com, Tampa Bay's #1 private investigation agency, which we've been doing a little private investigating ourselves. So that was the headline at the top of the show. In case you missed it, we're reporting the kind of similar information that you heard on the NFL Network that Tom Brady is away. We've been told that he's overseas working on his family life and that balance with family life and football, which he's talked a lot about. And the Bucs are very, very, I'd say confident that he's going to return to play. We just don't know when. But hopefully in these situations, as we mentioned, you just never know what the outcome can be. But I think everybody's pretty confident that Brady will be back. Do not think there's any way in the world, of course, can't, like Todd Bowles said, you never know. And when it comes to family, if the decisions come down to he needs to be with his family, then that's going to trump football at some point. And whether that's now or later remains to be seen. But we hopefully he'll be back this week and ready to go.
I think one thing we could say, if he does play this year, I think it'll really be it.
There's no question about that.
There will be no speculation
question about that. Or he
it.
will be divorced. That's he wants to keep playing football. It won't be with Giselle hanging around. Is my guess. Yeah. So we hope everything and pray everything works out for him and his family. And I, praise to the Bucs for letting him take the time to work this thing out and get in the right headspace, because you don't want the guy coming and playing here if he's not in the right headspace.
Yeah.
So
we did have a comment here, by the way, based on our college football discussion we just had on NIL. This is from George Koulianos, I believe.
Yes.
Apologies if I.
Hey, George, what's up, partner?
JP, unpopular opinion, but if NIL is here to stay, I feel those making lots of money should have to pay for tuition and board, and those who do not get NIL deals should still receive athletic scholarships.
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely on the board. I believe. Yeah, I mean, that opens up more money for other, not only players, but other sports. I mean, football has always been what funds all these other non-revenue sports. I mean, how does the tennis team afford to travel to Hawaii? Well, not because of the tickets they're selling. It's because of the revenue that football and basketball brings in, and you're not going to be able to run these other sports unless you have that revenue. So, so those, if you have players that are making $1 million a year, which is what you have now, some making more than that, then why should the scholarship be a part of that? And again, the scholarship though is, it's not something that like the schools have to come out of pocket with. It's like the teachers are there, the infrastructure is there. So yeah, And frankly, I've said this. I think if we're going to be honest about what football is, okay, this is professional football. I mean, you just heard Skip talk about it. This is not, the money is so big now. In fact, it's worse than professional football because in professional football, you have a draft, right? Mm-hmm. You have, in college football, players can go anywhere they want, and now they can transfer anywhere they want. There's no, at least in the NFL, you have 2, 3, 4, 5-year contracts. So you know that the players are going to be there. Now in college, if you're a coach, you have no idea if your players are going to be there next year or when they're going to go. So this is not conducive to good football. It will take a toll on the level of football. I just like it's happened to basketball. So I think this is a very, very serious problem. And here's the thing. There is so much money to go around. It's not like how are we going to pay for it? Where's the money going to come from? None of that. There's tons of money out there. We just have to reallocate the money and set up some type of salary cap situation, just like pro football has. It can't be unlimited. Alabama can't have unlimited money. Texas A&M can't have unlimited oil money for NIL deals because then it's going to be even more out of balance than it is now. And it's just going to be, you're going to have a Yankees-Dodgers situation in college football. That's good for nobody. It's good for nobody. The sport dies in that realm.
Yeah. The other thing, too, I was just reading through some transcripts here that just came out. It was Kevin Warren, the Big Ten commissioner. I guess he was on Real Sports with Brian Gumbel. I think that may be airing tonight, or it may have aired last night. I'm not sure. Nothing groundbreaking in his quotes, but he did kind of say, 20 teams is kind of where we're approaching, and that's the plan. And then he was asked straight up, do you have a plan in place to pay the players in the future? And all he said was yes. And it was nothing further than that. But, when these things happen, when I hear that answer, that's clearly him just, they want to play the players, but it's going to happen whenever they're forced to, in my opinion.
I think we're at that point. Honestly,
it's going to happen when they're forced to. And then when that happens, I don't think they're going to pay them as much as they're worth, probably.
Right. But had they done that, had they come up with some type of pay structure 10 years ago when they should have, then they might not be in this NIL mess, quite frankly. I mean, what they should do, if I was the commissioner, is run college football like NFL football. Take the template from the NFL. Now, obviously, you can't have a draft. That's not going to be something that you could do. But you can have a form of a salary cap. You can have a form of free agency. You can have contracts. You can do it all that way. And my suggestion, and this is something we've been talking about for 10 to 15 years. I talked to a lawyer about this many, many years ago. And what they need to do is take the football and basketball programs, mainly the football programs, out of the purview of the university and being subject to Title IX and all the other things that go along with that, and make them basically a booster agency where they produce revenue for the school and they are affiliated with the school. And they can do things like contracts and salary caps and everything like that. And these kids shouldn't have to go to school, is where I'm going with this. They don't need to go to school. We're bastardizing our universities by taking kids that want to play football, asking teachers to look the other way in terms of their studies. Yes, that still happens. Not at all schools, but it happens. Telling kids to take classes to be eligible. They don't want to be in school. It's a farce, folks. It's a farce. The student athlete thing when it comes to football is a farce. Let's just be honest about it.
Should it be something, though, that's an option, though, for the player?
Oh, absolutely. If you want to go to school, absolutely, 100%.
We have to, every player.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I think a lot would. I think the majority of the players would want to get an education and go to school there. But I would say it probably would be half and half.
Yeah, and like the one example that's on the top of my head right now, which you're probably very familiar with, is was it Myron Roll, right?
Yes, Myron Roll.
FSU, who I believe kept in. I mean, he might have gotten his master's, maybe.
Oh yeah,
and he became a big doctor. I'm not sure what he does.
He's a heart surgeon now.
Yeah, he's a big heart surgeon,
brain surgeon. Yeah.
So there's the example at the top of my head right there of somebody who wanted to go to school.
Oh, absolutely. It should totally be an option for these players. But let's not have all these academic requirements.
I mean, I told you
that coaches are spending all their time trying to circumvent.
I've told this story on here before, and I won't say the name, obviously, but I was in a class with a few players at UCF, and we, first day you have to get up and introduce yourself, and some of the players did, and he's like, my major, what's my major again? That's what he did. He's like, I'll get back to you. Let me ask my advisor.
I'll wait for my coach to tell me what my major is going to be. I have a couple of great stories. One was a player that got drafted out of North Carolina. many years ago, and he was a really smart kid and a great football player as well. And he told his coach the year before his senior year, he says, "Hey, I got this great internship up on Wall Street with one of the big firms." He wanted to go into finance, and the coach literally said to him, "The hell you do? You're going to be staying here and working out to make us a championship team." Literally told the kid that he couldn't go do his Wall Street huge firm internship that would probably set him up for life in terms of his finances and learning things, because he had to stay. He said, "If you leave for the summer, you're off the team." I mean,
that would never happen today. I don't think so. I think the reaction would be so visceral.
I think players are more empowered now that they would probably go public with it. And the coach, well, that's one part of it now. Coaches can't do that crap anymore because guys will just transfer.
I'll give you a good example. Yeah. Kind of off topic. I don't think it's really
But that just goes to show you how much some coaches, I won't say all, care about academics. They don't.
Yeah. And in regards to like being so focused on football and that's all that matters, I mean, this kind of similar. Did you see the Scott Frost quote?
No.
At Nebraska?
No.
They have, I guess, a new strength and conditioning coach or an offensive line coach. And he admitted, I'm trying to think of the exact quote here. I might have to look it up here on Twitter. But he basically admitted, he's like, yeah, our throw-up count is pretty high at practice because of our new O-line coach or whatever. And it's like, those are things that 20 years ago, people would go, oh, yeah. You know? Nowadays, it's like, ooh, do you really want to brag about that?
Yeah. Are you abusing the players?
And that's
what's going on.
Yeah. And I use that analogy for what you were saying. I just don't think anything like that would never fly today.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. But it's still, I'm very actively, these players are pushed into majors that will keep them focused on football. When guys say, I want to do molecular biology, coaches are like, yeah, no, you're not doing molecular. Because I mean, the demands for their academics are going to cut into their preparation time. I had a University of Florida player tell me this, that they used to have to fill out these forms. I think they still do, that they're only allowed to put 20 hours a week into football, right? And they have to fill out basically a timesheet every day and fill it out. And the coaches basically told them to falsify that because they weren't even close. They were closer to 40 hours a week. So they had to falsify these timesheets that they had to turn in. Like he was like, well, coach, I was here. We were watching film for 15 hours on Sunday. Why do you want me to put down 3? Just put down 3, son. And that's what they did. And I'm not calling out University of Florida. Every program's doing the same damn thing. I should. Some are better, I'm sure, but this is what goes on. The academic portion of this for football is a farce. And we need to just acknowledge that what it is and stop, we got to get kids in. They got to have this SAT score when they're having people take the SAT for them. That's been going on for 40, 50 years. Let's just stop the farce. Where else on the globe are these huge sporting teams affiliated with universities? They don't do this anywhere else.
Because people need to get out of that mindset that not every person that goes to college is the same. The football team is not the same as me when I'm there. Another good example of that is Florida's $88 million football facility.
Yes.
When the players are quote unquote studying, guess where they're going? To the football facility. The $88 million. When I want to study, guess where I'm going? The crowded brick walls that are white and have maybe one Starbucks in it.
And as it should be, because how much money are you producing for the university?
That's the disparity there.
Yeah. So and part of this discussion is, how do you fix all this? And again, when you have and Nick Saban let it slip out a couple weeks ago. He said, what's it going to be? 2 20-team super conferences, and that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, and I don't want to hear anything Nick Saban has to say.
Right. I mean,
he wants this.
But that's what they're thinking. I mean, I think he said out loud what the powers that be behind the scenes are thinking, because they're thinking about it one way. There's probably about 40 teams that have the infrastructure and financial wherewithal to be basically a professional league. And I think that's where Nick Saban, and I don't think that's good for college football.
No, but unfortunately, and maybe it's always been like this, I don't know. It's all about money. We know this.
Right.
It's going to be relevant whenever we get into the Deshaun Watson, which, by the way, I have some thoughts on that.
Yeah.
In regards to how it's all about money. We'll get to that as well. But that's just, I don't like it. I just don't like it. I hate having these discussions because we can't actually talk about the game. And that's why I've been saying, I really hope that when we get, 8 days away now? We're 8 days away. Oof. When we get 8 days from now, I'm going to be so elated when we come back on that Monday and we get to talk about the game.
The actual game. Not NIL.
Not NIL.
Not realignment.
Not realignment.
The game.
Not media
how
deals.
They played.
Not media deals. Just tell me how they played.
Well, again, the powers that be that run college football would have been judicious and not greedy and tried to hold on to their money and done things the right way and given players what they deserve, we wouldn't be in this mess. So again, I'll say this, and this was brought up by Tommy Tuberville, who is now a senator from Mississippi and obviously was a D1 coach. To me, the only way you get these Power 5 or this top 40, whatever you're going to say, these two big conferences to the table with everybody else in college football is you have to force their hands in terms of state funding and federal funding. Otherwise, why would Alabama, Georgia, Florida State, all these teams who are going to be in these super conferences give up their advantage and all this money they're going to get from the Big Ten deal to spread it out to the East Carolinas of the world? They're not, unless they're forced to do so. And I think if they're going to have some type of integrity in college football, we've got to blow up the model, but also go back to the roots of college football, realign these conferences, realign by geography, realign by rivalries, because the only reason USC and UCLA are going to the Big Ten is money.
Yeah.
And if you set it up where everybody gets the same amount of money, there's no incentive for them to leave. Because this affects a lot of people. It doesn't affect just USC and UCLA. It affects Cal. It affects, the other state universities. It affects so many different people that are being disenfranchised by the greed of these other teams.
Yeah. And here was a comment here from Mario Christian brought this up. What about Stanford and Notre Dame when it comes to academics, especially Stanford's success in regards to this conversation?
What do you mean? I'm not sure what the question is. Is it great that they have great academics? Yeah, it's fantastic. And as I said, you're not saying you can't go to school. If you want to continue on down that academic path and you want to continue to run your program that way, you have the ability to do so. We're just saying, let's just make it what it is. Let's just be honest about it. And by the way, if Stanford doesn't want to opt into this professional / collegiate model, they don't have to. If they want to stick with an Ivy League model, then they can do that. Absolutely, they can do. They could choose to do it and say, "Look, we're going to be an academic university." I'm here to tell you, there's probably 80% of the faculty at Stanford, would probably do cartwheels if they knew there were no more athletics. They would. I mean, They don't care about athletics. They care about academics. They're university professors. That's what they should care about, quite frankly. It's a college. It's not a minor league for football. And some of the things that professors are asked to do to keep guys eligible are ridiculous. So, I don't think
it's amazing they've had success like they have.
Of course.
I mean, I'll tell you.
And Notre Dame as well.
Notre Dame's in its own little category, honestly. I mean, that's just they have never had the problem meshing the two together, academics and football. For whatever reason, it's never really been a problem for them.
Yeah. When's the last time they won a national championship? Been a while.
I believe Skip's father was still coaching, right?
Yeah. So it's they're competitive, but again, it brings it above board. It makes it a much more honest endeavor, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I think within that realm of reconstructing everything, you can kill two birds with one stone. You can finally, or a lot of birds with one stone. You can finally get the players compensated for what they should be doing. I'm not saying they should be making millions and millions of dollars like professional athletes are, but certainly way more than they're making now. They could still keep their NIL deals as well. But just, there's got to be limits on NIL as well. And if you're paying the players, they're not going to have a legal reason or a legal standing to say, hey, we should be paid more. The players should have a union. College football players should be in a union and collectively bargain with the universities. And then we'll see how much money they can make. Yeah, we'll see how much it's really worth for those players and those universities to pay them. So if you have any thoughts on that, you can always hit us up at FanstreamJP on Twitter. You can always hit us at the JP Peterson Show. You can go online on YouTube in the comment section or on Facebook in the comment section, and we'll put your comments up here. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side and talk some Rays baseball. Big win last night, and they get a great performance from a guy we had just kind of written off. We'll talk about that when we come back. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance. So do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799.
Hi, my name is Mike Warner, a Navy vet. I've had problems with addictions throughout the many decades. Something saved my life, and that is the Heroes Mile program.
Hi, I'm Bill Lennox, retired Lieutenant General, United States Army. If you have any challenges in alcohol, drug, if you have PTSD, MST, think about Heroes Mile.
Heroes Mile, a recovery center for veterans by veterans. Call 1-888-VET-NOW2 to learn more or visit heroesmile.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Emerging Investigations, our new sponsor. If you are in need of a private investigator, they are the place to go. They are the standard here in the Tampa Bay region. So you can give them a call or go on over to their website, emerginginv.com, great folks over there. So if you have any issue, think your spouse is cheating, or you got some issues at work, you need a little PI work done, they are the best in the business. They get great results. A lot of local attorneys, local insurance agencies use them. So you should count on them as well. Get the right information. Don't try to do this yourself, folks, and snoop around on social media or, put trackers on cars and stuff like that. Don't be an amateur PI. Call the professionals. It's more affordable than you think. Just go to emerginginv.com, emerginginv.com. Free call. Just talk to them, contact them through the website, and tell them you heard it on the JP Show, and just tell them what your situation is, and they'll be able to kind of feel out if they can help you or they can't. So free call. Just go to emerginginv.com. All right. Big win for the Rays last night. They get home from New York, I think about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning after losing on a 10th inning grand slam. And they jump back in. They call up Luis Patino from Durham, who goes 5 2/3, gives up 4 hits, doesn't even allow a runner to second until the 6th inning. And he was just tremendous. And then Yandy Diaz, again, who has been carrying this team offensively, comes up with a home run and a double. And do we have any of that for my good friends at Bally Sports Sun?
Yes, I'm slogging through it here to get to the Yandy one because the Rays had lots of highlights.
They did last night. Yeah.
But here was the Yandy home run, which set the tone, and his 7th of the season.
He's only got 7?
Only 7.
Wow. Seems like big hit after big hit.
That's a low one to left. High and deep and gone. Home run off the bat of Yandy Diaz.
That was that got everything started. He had a double as well.
I maintain that guy, if he figured out his launch angle, he could hit 30 home runs
and strike out 200 times.
No,
don't change the thing.
I know he's such a great
launch angle stuff.
He's such a great hitter. He's such a great contact hitter. But every time he gets a hold of one,
I know
you just wonder, I'm like, because he's so big. I mean, the shirtless photo of him.
Yes.
I haven't seen anybody.
He looks a lot like you. They're shut up.
Oh, thank you.
When you start messing with that stuff, though.
Oh, he's never going to mess with it. But I've always wondered, I'm like, if he did, how many could he really hit? Because 7 home runs for someone that looks like him is kind of crazy.
Yeah, but you lose, when you try to do that, you just lose your entire, that level swing is what makes him such a good hitter. And that's what I have, problems I have with those launch angle swings is your percentage of hitting the ball squarely on the bat just goes down so dramatically when your angle is like this, if you're watching on TV, instead of like this, especially when you're hitting a fastball. That's just physics. And that's why you get a lot of strikeouts, you get a lot of home runs, and you get, the 3 outcomes, right? Which I think is boring for baseball. I think we need more contact hitters like Yandy. Guys that grow up with a natural uppercut swing, those are your home run hitters.
Yeah.
Guys that come up through the through the ranks and make contact. You need both in this league. I think it's one of the things in analytics is just kind of, I think, really screwed up in terms of the game.
He's a great leadoff hitter.
Yes.
He's a quintessential leadoff. If you go
Really
around the
good.
league, how many
Yes.
better leadoff hitters are there in the league than Yandy Diaz? There's
On base over 400.
It's come under. He's come back down a little bit, but he's still, I think it's like 380 something. So
yeah, it's been over 400
it's been
most of the
great,
year.
but
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think the story last night was Luis Patino. It really was. And after 3 innings last night, I think he had 12 swing and misses. For context there, his first 3 outings with the Rays this year, which was spanning over 8 innings, he only had 6 swing and misses. So his stuff was crazy good yesterday. I'd argue since he got to the Rays, that was the best I've ever seen him look. That's exactly what the Rays
I don't
were
think there's any
expecting.
question about that. Was this a one-off, though? Was it a one-off, or is this something that we can count on? I'll tell you what you can count on. Me trashing a Rays player and him coming back and sticking it in my face the next day.
Yeah, that's
I
what
think
you
joined in
get.
the other day when we
That's
wrote
what
off
you
Patino.
get because the Rays take 2 against the Yankees in a row, and you come here the next day and the offense didn't do anything after the first inning.
They didn't. Sure, you don't
That's
like
what
the
you
facts.
get. That's what you get.
No, but also I'm back to my incredible ability to trash a Rays player and have them come back and do something good. So I do it for the team. I took one for the team there. I kind of I've written him off because I just haven't seen anything special since he's been here. That's the best he's ever pitched in a Rays uniform. And I'm going to caveat it again. It was the Royals. It was the Royals. Come on.
Yes, but it's about building things.
Yeah,
He can't
I'm
control who
happy for
he's
him.
facing.
I'm just not awarding the Cy Young just yet.
I mean, I'm going to give Kevin Cash credit on this one. He pushed the right buttons again because he called up Patino and Yacobonis. Yacobonis is gone. A quick stay here.
Oh, it was such a wonderful
A quick
time
stay
we had
for-
here.
for Jimmy Yacobonis.
I'll never forget the Jimmy Yacobonis era. It would be special in my mind.
Yeah, but
no. Now, look, if Patino can come up and just be a reliable starter and give us innings like that, he could be the designated opener for Yarbrough because of their contrast. That seems to work.
and maybe
That
he
would-
can go 3 innings, and then
Right.
Yarbrough can give you like 3. I mean, I'm speaking of a perfect world.
Yeah, yeah.
3 or 4 there, and you don't take up as much as the bullpen. So
That would be a really good combination, those two.
I mean, I've always thought Patino. I mean, to me, I guess we'd written him off. I'd written him off as a starter. I thought he was clearly a back into the bullpen guy. Just give everything you got for an inning or 2, and that's your role. I just didn't see a role for him to start, but if he can figure out as a starter, it would be a big help for the Rays, no doubt about it. Because there's no doubt. I mean, he's one of the more talented arms they have. Raw talent, it's there.
No question.
It's definitely there. And I'm trying to see. I think Brendan McKay, by the way, I believe, pitched last night for the first time this year with AAA.
And
he started. I'm trying to get
Did we get anything on it?
I'm trying to get the numbers here. That Brendan McKay, because I saw it, and then all the Durham stuff got kind of muddy in my timeline last night.
But look, having Patino back up, I'm not counting on Brendan McKay. I'd like to see something. When is Glasnow going out on a rehab start or starting to rehab back?
I'm not sure, but
I mean, last we heard, was a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, he was perfectly healthy.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I don't know. I do have the numbers.
What are we doing?
I do have the numbers here for Brendan McKay.
I don't want Brendan McKay numbers.
I'm going to give you the Brendan McKay numbers because it matters.
Okay.
He was a 3rd overall pick, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
He matters, but
we've seen his.
I'm going to go back and watch the tape later today. But on the surface, looks like he got 4 innings of work, gave up just 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts, and 1 walk. So based off the line, it sounds like it was a good outing for Brendan McKay in his return. And the fact that he's in AAA, I'm going to assume that he's going to be with the big league team at some point here down the stretch. I don't know what capacity, but I'm assuming, and I talked about it, the Rays need help with left-handed relievers.
They do. If they could turn him into a left-hand shutdown guy, but he's never been a big strikeout swing and miss guy, has he? I don't see those numbers. McKay, yeah.
I don't know if he's throwing quite as hard as he was. I think he's more of a, I guess, quote-unquote pitcher now than a thrower, like he kind of was. So I don't know if you can count on that, but yeah, not sure. But, I mean, 5 strikeouts in 4 innings, not bad. It looks like Glasnow, I think, might be pitching tomorrow.
Oh, is he?
It might be, yeah.
Where do we? Is that an interview with Glasnow? Is that history?
Or he's facing live hitters on Saturday.
Okay.
And then a rehab assignment to follow.
All right.
So.
All right. Let's get him in the mix. That's what we're talking about. All right, so the Rays will have the Royals, and last night I think I nailed the attendance. By the way, what'd you say? 12, and I said what?
12, and it was 8.
I said 8. I nailed it.
I can't believe it was that bad though.
Mostly
8.
Royals. You can't believe it's that bad?
I haven't honestly, like, the Rays have been a nice little string here. Maybe it's because of the $15 tickets where it seems like it's been respectable.
I think ends August 25th, and Kids Eat Free ends August 25th.
Yeah,
so
I feel like
kids starve at the games after August 25th.
At least we're not like the Red Sox, man. We're not starving them because we're losing.
Have to win to get food for the kids. Hey, we just cut them off on August 25th. Sorry, you're on your own, kids. Go find food somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, what arbitrary date is that? Like, well, we're getting into playoff hunt in September, so we got to make some more money off those kids eating. Otherwise, so we're gonna cut it off. Parents, do you really care enough to buy food for your kid? Feed them before you get there. Remember the days of bringing in your own food and coolers?
I gotta say, I know we used to be able to bring waters. My mom used to have a big ass bag.
You can bring coolers in.
Bring in with stuff.
Bring coolers in.
Yeah.
Your own food and drinks and everything. I was back in the nice stew days. We're into the Grinch era of stew. The Grinch era of stew. No our food. Screw these people.
Did you see, by the way? This is so random.
I think I mentioned this yesterday. Just a real quick one on the Rays. It seems to me that I don't think Stu really cares about attendance anymore because he's made so much money without attendance. And he just needs a ballpark to play in, to plug in the TV cameras and make money off of TV. So he doesn't care.
I told you that yesterday.
He doesn't care if it's accessible to the fan base in the middle of the market. He doesn't care what it looks like. He just, get us a new stadium, whatever.
I was going to point out real quick. Did you see that little video the Rays posted yesterday? I believe it was Ernie the Popcorn Man. Did you see that video?
Dude arrives at 3:00 in the morning and
I got
pops
a kick out of that.
I know. That was a cool little piece of marketing.
I know.
There.
I hope that's like a series that they're doing. Maybe they've started and I've just missed it.
The popcorn guy?
Yeah, I hope that's like a nice little series they're doing on some of these longer tenured employees and taking you behind the scenes.
And they did one on the Rays Foundation, which was really good, on All Access, which was really good, highlighting a lot of stuff they do in the community. Maybe forget it. Do a great job in the community. But I think they should do one on the marketing team.
Oh, here you go with the marketing team.
How
do I get you not like talking Rays on this show? It's like we're just trying to recap the game. We're just trying to tell you what happened.
I'm making a joke.
You bring up the attendance last night.
Everybody's like, they have a marketing team?
You bring up the marketing team.
Yeah.
You bring up this and that.
No, it'll be a great episode because the new guy they got that came out from the lake, he'll come in to the room and have all PowerPoint. And get everybody excited about the new marketing ideas. And then Stu walks in at the end and says, trash all that stuff.
Here we go.
Great ideas. Forget it.
The marketing has been fantastic.
Thank you guys for coming.
The marketing has been much better this year.
Go put some coal in their stockings and let's call it a day.
Again, the marketing has been much better this year, and you know that's true.
Yes, he's done a much better job with what he's been given.
The Wander chain when you're on, what is it, 275?
Yeah.
It's still nice to look at.
It's beautiful. That certainly pointed that career burglar to his car in Jacksonville. Man, that dude's got some jewelry. I think I know where I'm going to get me some. Their marketing was so good. They got all that stuff stolen. They made sure every thief in Tampa Bay knew that Wander had lots of jewelry in his car. So that was good marketing right there. You got anything else I can make fun of? Oh, that's good.
I got no more comments on the Rays. I can't talk about the Rays.
Kids eat free till August 25th, and then you're done, kids. You're done. You want a hot dog? $10.
All I did was bring up Ernie the Popcorn Man. Ernie the Popcorn Man.
And you know what? And that is a fabulous piece that they did on Ernie the Popcorn Guy. It was great.
I loved it. And I love how, wasn't there something in there? Like they told him like they were going to make it all automatic. And he was like, no, I'm going to make this popcorn.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And make sure that every single popcorn, I've never even had popcorn at the Trop, so I feel awful now about it.
I know, don't you?
But
now that you know Ernie's busting his ass, he's getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I'm gonna be all over that popcorn next time I get in there.
Say thank you, Ernie, for the popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were gonna automate his job, and he said, no, you can't do that. I'm gonna be Ernie the Popcorn Guy. So they're gonna spend that extra money to make sure that popcorn is good and it's the best it can possibly be. So I think Stu deserves a an attaboy for keeping that guy's job. Absolutely. He didn't automate it. He's got a heart. He's got a heart.
I just don't know what he has to do with Ernie the Popcorn Man.
Obviously nothing.
He might not even know who Ernie the Popcorn Man is.
He's probably going to be fired now. He's probably looked at that thing and went, wait a minute, we're paying this guy? I thought I told you to fire him.
Oh, man.
I thought I told you to get rid of Ernie. I got to pay this guy. I could automate this, and we're paying this guy. Like, don't show that to Stu.
You're full of it.
He'll get pissed off.
I feel like I've restricted you from going off on Stu for the last few weeks, and you've totally just let it go today.
We're just having some fun.
It's Friday.
Come on. I'm having some fun. We're having a little bit of fun. We can have some laughs here, right? All right, let's take I want to get to some of the great comments we got here from Jacob M before we go. It's on Rays. Bethencourt called a great game, and Luis tunneled his pitches beautifully, and his arm slot was consistent when the fastball had extra velo and spin. Wow, that's a lot of breakdown right there from Jacob M. Thank you, Jacob M. What are you, a scout? Look at you. That was I'll be honest with you. I didn't watch all the game watched the highlights, read up on it today. So I didn't watch the game last night, watch a little bit of it, but not much. So I didn't see all that. I have to go back and really pinpoint it, but thank you for that, Jacob M. Whatever it was good.
I did turn the game off once Southern Charm came on. I'll admit.
When Southern Charm came on?
I admit I did turn the game off then.
So you watched Southern Charm instead of the game?
The Rays were up 6-1 at the time.
I hate to say this, but what's Southern Charm?
This is a show that me and Casey watch.
Mm-hmm.
It's been around for like a decade. Torello loves it, by the way. I see him tweeting about it all the time.
Okay.
So I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
It's like a reality show, but it's centered in Charleston. So
Love Charleston.
So it's very Southern.
Is it like the Grizzlies or the Chisleys or the Chrisleys?
No.
Not that one. Chrisley knows best.
No. This one's on Bravo.
I watched a little bit of that.
This one's on Bravo
for like an episode and a half. It's on. So that makes it better. This one's better. So it's a reality Southern Charm.
Yeah.
Do they go to football games, SEC games? No.
They always have these weird events. Like the one last week, they had a dog wedding, and it's to me, it's like the producers telling them, "Hey, we need you to manufacture an event to have everybody come together at one time, so we can have a bunch of drama." It's kind of how it works.
A dog wedding.
Like a full-on dog wedding.
You turned off a baseball game to watch a dog wedding. A bunch of hayseed.
This is the Thursday
rednecks.
Tradition for me and Casey. Thursday. This is the only TV show we watch together.
I want to save your marriage, so I'm not going to tell you to tell me what you really think about watching a dog wedding.
It's a little much. Not going to lie. A little much.
Show me your face like you're pretending you're interested as you check your phone and see what the race score is. Oh yeah, honey. Was that what is that a Shih Tzu? We're gonna marry a Shih Tzu with a bloodhound? Ooh, that's drama. Is that really?
One of the dogs should take a Shih Tzu on the way to the altar. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Did he?
Yeah,
of course. You think that was staged?
Of course he did.
You know how much laxative they gave that dog before they shot?
They kept teasing it before they went to the wedding. They were like when they do the tease coming up on Southern Charm. And there's the dog, and you hear everybody go,
"Shih Tzu's going to take a Shih Tzu on the way up to the altar." Like, how can I turn it off? How can I turn it off at that point? Oh my God! I can see you and Torello watching this show.
The other part too, like the other dog, I think it was
Benny the Bloodhound is getting married to Sherry the Shih Tzu.
Everybody,
the ratings must be off the freaking charts.
The best part too, there was other dogs in attendance, like in the pews, right?
There's other dogs. This is getting so much better than the Brady stuff.
And the other dog came down the aisle, and it turned and saw another dog. And one of the dogs jumped off the pew and went towards the altar, and they started kind of dog making out. So he was
dog
cheating.
Making out or flat out humping.
Almost flat out humping. Wow.
In the middle, like this, so before the wedding started.
Yeah, while the other dog is already waiting at the altar.
The groom was it the groom or the bride at the altar?
No, the groom was at the altar.
And the bride was, and some other dog came out
on another dog before it got there.
They banged the bride there at the altar.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Actually, this is getting good. I'm gonna have to go watch
it's on Peacock.
Peacock. Of course it is. We're at the Big Ten football game.
I have
Notre Dame and Wisconsin, followed by this Shih Tzu getting banged at the altar right in front of Benny the Bullhound.
I have no shame. I have no shame in admitting it. I turned off the Rays
can't wait
game.
to see the promo in the middle of of the Michigan Ohio State.
Turned off the Rays game last night to watch Southern Charm. I have no shame.
We got to get Torello on to defend you and watching Southern
When I
Charm.
saw him tweet about it, I actually did one of these. I was like, yes. I was like, somebody else watches it.
Somebody else is being forced to watch this besides me. Yes, absolutely. Oh my God. I will say that the lovely Ashley is a big fan of 90 Day Fiance. So I capitulated to watch an episode of that.
I don't even know what that is.
Don't watch it.
It sounds like
Don't
Married
watch
at First
it.
Sight and
It's
all these
awful.
other garbage shows.
It's awful.
That's the worst show.
I was looking at her going, really? And she's like, well, this is not a great episode. I'm
Oh,
like,
it is.
oh, it gets better. Really? It gets better? I cannot do these stupid, contrived, like it's reality. It's not reality. It's just somebody's stupid life. I mean, I just can't get into it.
No.
I'm sorry. I know. I just have never really gotten into reality shows.
Yeah.
I don't. It's kind of. There was a few of the Bachelor things, but then it just becomes such contrived drama. I never understood like the most intimate details of your life. You're going to put on a blast into the world, like you're going to like getting married and falling in love and all these stuff. You're going to like. How can it be?
I mean, we used
how
to have
can
a
it be
show.
authentic in any way when there's 17 cameras in the room? Cut. Can we get that again? Can we get that first kiss again? We had bad lighting on that. Could you guys, create that one more time? Where's the reality in that? Cut.
I don't understand these shows.
I don't.
Man.
Can we get a little bit more tears coming down than that? We really got to sell this one for the tease.
I feel like I've had Jacob M's comment up here this entire conversation. So
sorry
about Brendan McKay.
Oh yeah, let's get back to the real good
Anyway.
stuff. Let's stop talking about Sherry the Shih Tzu and get right to McKay's velo was sitting at 90-92 yesterday, but still building arm strength.
Yeah, I believe he was at 95, 96.
I think if you sit at 90, you should go Yarborough way. Like stop trying to throw hard when you're at 90, 92. Start going the other way. Start soft tossing and become an effective pitcher in that way. See how soft you can throw it, and you'll be a human changeup like he is, the Jamie Moyer. I think seriously, that's if you can't get to 96, 97, you should back it down and go the other way.
Yeah.
Be a changeup.
Yeah.
So maybe we're
going to sit the opposite end of the spectrum tonight because you know what today is, right?
It's Shane McClanahan.
It's Sugar Shane Day.
Sugar Shane Day
on a Friday night.
Friday at the Trop. It's gonna be 10,000 maybe.
Here we go.
Might be 11,000. 9 of them Royals fans. How many Royals fans were there last night? It's like a home game for them for a little bit. Patino shouldn't be on much of an innings limit since he was out most of the season. See, that's Mario Christian says. That's the exact way they don't think. The less you pitch, the less you can pitch because you don't have any arm strength. See, remember when Shane, was off for a couple of weeks with the,
I hope his velocity is back to where it was tonight.
It was last game.
It was last game,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
it was last game.
But I hope we get he hasn't been, even though last game, he didn't have his best stuff.
No,
he
needs
really
a dominant
battled
performance.
through it.
Yeah, he needs a dominant performance.
Tonight is against a team that he should be able to dominate against. Please
Yeah.
get back going in here. His Cy Young candidacy has unfortunately gone up in smoke at the moment.
Yes.
So,
all right, let's take another break. When we come back, we really haven't broken down practice yesterday. We got some thoughts on that.
And Deshaun
Watson. Wait till you hear this audio from Deshaun Watson. Just digging the hole deeper. We thought we were done with this. Oh no! But then they put him in front of the media. What a disaster. Talk about that next.
Hey guys, Serena Fazan here for the Golden Diamond Source. Are you looking for the hottest trends in men's jewelry? Ladies love to see men spice it up with something cool from the Golden Diamond Source. Whether you're looking for a gold chain, fashion rings, even a pre-owned Rolex watch, or thinking about getting engaged, there's only one place to go. Go see my friends, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Golden Diamond Source for your one-stop jewelry supercenter. It's never been more important to shop local and support the businesses that support our amazing Tampa Bay community. None better than the great folks at the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, or online at goldendiamond.com.
Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by, in our second hour, Bray Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo and his medical team over there will take great care of you. We had a great interview with him earlier on this week. If you missed it, go back and check it out on our podcast with Chris talking about weight loss. A lot of weight loss schemes out there that don't really work. This is why it's great to work with a medical doctor, because they will do your blood work. They'll do everything that's personalized, make sure that you know what you need to do, how to do it, and it's not a quick fix. A lot of these other programs out there, you take a drug here, take a drug there, it's suppress your appetite, 500 calories. That never works in the long term. So if you're really interested in leaning up and doing weight loss, Chris Lugo has some great plans over there, and they'll work specifically for you. It's, can you imagine you're trying to lose weight and you need a program and you're doing something that everybody else is doing when everybody's body is different. That makes zero sense, folks. So let the man who knows what he's doing and has the tools and the proven techniques and therapies go to work, and you can be, you got to work at it too. You got to exercise, you got to do all those things too, but at least you know you got a plan that's going to get you results for the long term. So go to BAMMC.com, and get your appointment right now and get on your way to better health at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. All right. Got to get into the Deshaun Watson thing. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. The final word is down, 11 games, $5 million fine. That means he's going to miss the last suspended game will be against the Buccaneers. So he'll be coming back against, believe it or not, the Houston Texans in Houston, which is, I don't know if that's a slap in the face to all the massage therapists in Houston, but it kind of is.
This is what I was alluding to earlier when I said it's all about money.
Yeah.
This is, again, the NFL does not care.
No,
they don't care.
It's a dog and pony show.
This was 100% planned, just like it's planned that Russell.
Did we not say that a week and a half?
Yes.
We've been saying this for the whole time.
Yes, but it's the same thing, right? It's the reason why Russell Wilson, magically, the Broncos are playing the Seahawks week 1 on Monday Night Football. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's all making money. You know what's going to happen for that game? The ticket prices are going to be astronomical. The ratings are going to be through the roof, and they're just going to keep making money off of it.
Yeah, of course.
That's all that comes down to it. And this is, again, the NFL that just
it is a business.
Yeah, I get it's a business, but they have no spine. They have no moral ground.
Oh, no.
We need to stop acting like they're supposed to be the moral authority here.
Yeah.
And then, based off everything I heard, by the way, the Browns, I don't care that they're winning games now. This is still an awful organization.
Oh, my God.
I can't understand for the life of me. When I heard that he was speaking yesterday.
Deshaun Watson?
Why?
Yeah.
What's the reason? You put out your little statement that somebody else wrote clearly where he's remorseful, and then you have him up there and speak. You have the team owner speak. Why is everybody speaking? Just stop.
Yeah.
You're just throwing gasoline on it.
You're making it worse.
You're making it worse.
I mean, I'm all for transparency. I want to hear more interviews. And I do think to some degree he does owe a level of explanation.
He doesn't want to give you an explanation.
But again, if I'm in the organization, I don't know if I'm necessarily saying that's what's good for everybody, because every time he talks, I think he's
phony.
Not only that, but I think it's worse for the victims.
It is.
I think it's way worse for the victims. I think you're putting more. You're like putting salt in the wound.
Yeah.
And as much as we should care about the message that this sends and what the NFL is supposed to be doing here, and which it doesn't. To me, it's all PR. And like Dobie315 says on Twitter, he hit us up. in relation to Deshaun Watson, the strategy here was to have the judge recommend. The NFL brass knew her recommendation beforehand. Then the NFL would up the ante over the female judge, and then they'd settle on something in between. I told you this weeks and weeks ago. This is how it's going to be. The day that Deshaun Watson signed the richest guaranteed contract in the NFL, I knew he was playing this year. I thought it would be more towards 6 to 8 games. But we knew he'd be playing this year because they're not going to let an NFL owner spend this much money. And by the way, I didn't realize his contract was he gets his bonus money, but he's only going to miss out on like $630,000 in salary.
Yeah.
By this suspension. They literally worked out his contract to make sure that he would get his money. And the game suspensions would be minimal. Like, unbelievable.
Just a joke.
Unbelievable.
And here was him yesterday. This is a little bit of an exchange here he had. And again, I don't see how this makes it any better or makes him look any better.
Here we go.
You're saying that you still maintain complete innocence, never did anything wrong to disrespect anyone. And you settled the suits and agreed to this punishment more to move on with your career, with your life, and that kind of thing. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I'm moving on with my career, with my life, and I'm continuing to stand on my innocence. Just because, settlements and things like that happen doesn't mean that a person is guilty for anything. I feel like the person has the opportunity to stand on his innocence and prove that, and we proved that on the legal side, and we're just going to continue to push forward as an individual and as a person.
And there were 5 more statements like that he's play that one.
This one even more is mind-boggling. This is Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Browns, the orchestrator of the shit show, if you were.
Yes.
I think it's important to remember Deshaun is 26 years old, okay, and is a high-level NFL quarterback.
What did he say? Play that again from the beginning.
From the beginning.
I think it's important to remember Deshaun is 26 years old, okay, and is a high-level NFL quarterback.
What the hell does that have to do with anything?
That's his justification for him getting a second chance, because he was asked about, that, and his quote was, well, what is he supposed to do? Not ever play again? Is he not supposed to be in society ever again? We gave Kareem Hunt a second chance, and look how that's worked out for us well, is what he said. And then he said that Deshaun's a 26-year-old quarterback who's a high-level player. Listen, we're not oblivious to the fact that that's the way the world works.
Yeah.
But don't say it out loud.
Exactly.
Don't say it.
He's not showing any remorse. Yeah, of course Deshaun Watson deserves a second chance. But this whole thing stops for me on the legal level. Like, I still cannot believe that a grand jury with all this evidence feels like they can't charge Deshaun Watson with any type of sexual assault. You listen to these victims.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like, he made me, I don't want to get graphic here, but grab his, and I'm like, folks, that's sexual assault. You could say, well, it's not, as he continually says, it's not abusive. It's not violent. I mean, when someone is in the position, a subservient position, like a massage therapist with an NFL quarterback, and you're told to do this, do you not get the fact that it doesn't go through their mind, well, I better do it? I mean, it's coercion. You shouldn't be asking someone to do that. Do you get that? Clearly, Deshaun Watson doesn't understand that. And it's bizarre. Yeah. And by the way, part of his condition of coming back is that he shows remorse. He didn't show remorse there. So while the Cleveland thinks that they're, we got this, we're done with this, 11 games, now we have some clarity. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because Roger Goodell has the ability to continue the suspension if he doesn't meet these guidelines. And clearly on day one, not going too well.
No. He has no remorse. He has no shame in what he's done and who he's affected. In this whole thing. I mean, the statement that he put out said one thing, and then what he said was another thing, totally contradicting themselves right there. The whole thing that he did last week with that video that they posted on the website
bizarre.
Was just cringe and weird, and bizarre and unneeded. The best thing is for him to just go away. Just go away. I don't need to see his face anymore. I mean, Stefanski said they're shutting him down. He's not going to be at camp anymore. He's not playing. The right decision there. But again, this is Organizations is what they do, and I'm reminded of the fact that this guy got the first fully guaranteed contract in NFL history. I'm reminded, and I'm also reminded too. Somebody brought this point up yesterday, I forget who, and I hadn't even thought about this. We're moving all this stuff out of the equation, just in fact of playing and getting that big contract. Can you go this long without playing in the NFL and expect him to be the same quarterback?
Did you see his first game?
Yeah, and I don't want to read much into it, but because it's 5 throws or 2 drops, whatever. But is that a valid thing, right?
Yes.
How can you go 2.5 years without playing, which is what it's going to be, and you're going to be expected to be the guy you were before?
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
And you got the fully guaranteed contract.
Yeah.
I think the Browns are going to look like they already do.
Yeah, they look like idiots.
They're going to look even dumber when this is all over with. And again, this is what bad organizations do.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the Bucs kicked the tires on Deshaun Watson, and they quickly realized that this is not a route we want to go down in any way, shape, or form. If you're the Browns and you sit down with him and he continues to say, "I'm not settling these cases and I've done nothing wrong," move on.
If you're the Browns,
that's when you go, "Hey, thanks for the meeting. Okay, we'll call you."
And again, if you're the Browns,
bye-bye.
How could you even say to remember the thing about how they wanted a grown up at the quarterback position, and that's why they moved on from Baker Mayfield?
How's Baker Mayfield going to come out looking good in this whole deal? That's how shitty they've handled this. That Baker Mayfield's going to come out looking good.
If Baker Mayfield wants to trash that organization, I wouldn't blame him at this point.
Yeah,
I wouldn't blame him at all. Because that guy took them to their first playoff berth in 20 years?
Won a playoff game.
Yeah. Had a year where he was honestly injured. I think everybody forgets about that. He was just injured last year.
He played with a separated right
I don't think people
understand
shoulder. That. We just have thrown him to the trash like he's garbage, and now he's in a quarterback competition with Sam Darnold, who I think he's light years better than. And now they get Deshaun Watson, and they want to say, well, we got a grown-up in the building now. Please, man.
Aren't you glad? Look, we've said, and we're so glad we're not dealing with any drama. All these other teams, we are now. I mean, the Bucs are now in the middle of this Brady thing, and I don't, I'm not here to say that he's not coming back, because I firmly believe he is coming back. But when it comes to family issues, you never know. You cannot predict what's going to happen when it comes to family issues. That's just the way it is, and I think that's why Todd Bowles said what he said. We don't know when he's coming back. We feel like he's going to be here and ready for the season. We're 99.9% sure. Everybody is in the building that I've talked to. But again, what he's dealing with, and this is the information we started the show with, is that work-life balance, the marriage, the family, everything. And these are something that was planned ahead of time. And hopefully this 2 weeks away or whatever it is gets him in the right headspace, gets their family in the right headspace. Everything works out well for them, and he can get through the season and then go into retirement, collect his, $37 million a year from Fox. Now, is there a chance that the pull to be a dad and go back to the retirement, so to speak, is there a chance that happens? Sure. There's a chance. I just don't see it happening. I think it would be a huge hit to his legacy, even though maybe it shouldn't be, because family should come first. We should have a lot of understanding of what he's going through. Like Devin White said, it's a personal problem. We pray for him. We pray for the family. We hope everything works out. Having to go through something like this in public is exactly what he's trying to avoid. But when you're you're the GOAT, you're the greatest NFL player of all time, and she's a supermodel, and you're the most popular couple on the planet, that's part of it. That's what comes with your life. And, fair or not, that's the way it is. People want to know. And, whenever he comes back from overseas to be the Buccaneers quarterback, let's hope that he's ready to go and in the right headspace. And that's all we can hope for. And we hope that, it's not just the parents, it's the family, it's the kids that go through this as well. So, as a divorced man, I know it's not easy on anybody. And for, when you're going through these type of issues, I can't imagine how you balance work and this. I don't know how you do it. But we hope it all turns out well. A couple of this may be my favorite tweet of the day from Gunny666. Did Yacobonis hit the Kikuchi while he was here? I don't know what that means, but it's provocative and it's funny. I don't know. We should. Inquiring minds want to know if the Yakubonis hit the Kikuchi.
I don't know why we're talking so much about Jacob Yakubonis, but do you know this account, Random Rays Players on Twitter?
No.
I get a kick out of this, but I love how 41 minutes ago, Jimmy Yakubonis is the latest Random Rays player that's been highlighted here.
Yes.
This is a gem of an account.
We'll live in infamy.
You need to follow this account. First of all, it's hilarious. We got like the Amish Colby Rasmus as the profile pic here. They got Joey Butler.
The Amish Colby Rasmus.
Joey
Oh my God!
Butler,
look at that
remember
pic.
him?
Joey Butler, yes.
Joey Butler's the header here.
Yeah.
Elliot Johnson was the highlighted yesterday.
Elliot Johnson of crashing into Yankees catcher. Who was the catcher?
I forget.
The Yankees got so mad about one of their good catchers.
Brad Hopp.
Hideo Nomo with the high
Heath Bell with
high windup. Heath Bell.
Oh my God.
What about Esteban Gan? One of my favorites of all time.
He was on here earlier.
Nobody could give up a banger like Esteban Gan.
Josh Lukey. Look at that.
What is that? Josh Lukey.
Wow. I've heard nightmare stories though about Esteban Yan from
man.
Rays from back in the day.
He could throw 100 miles an hour straight as a string. I'm not sure if the longest home run ever hit in Tropicana Field. I don't know. I think it officially it's Vinny Castilla.
I think
but
unofficially
it's Frank Thomas. I saw Frank Thomas hit one up into the tiki deck, like into the tiki bar, like over all the rings and into the back of the back. I don't know what that was or how far they said that went, but I saw it, and to me that was the longest home run ever at the Trop. I don't care what anybody says. All right, big thanks to Skip Holtz. Had a great conversation with him. USF fans, you'll love to hear that conversation. He hit about at the 10:30 mark here, so check that out if you want to. You can always go back and watch it on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook. Download the app, FanStream Sports, all one word, and you can just tap that app and listen to the show anytime during lunchtime, during your drive home, during the morning, whatever you want to. And, of course, we're live every day, 10 to 12. Have a great weekend, everybody. We will be back on Monday with more fun and frivolity. See you then.